action. Meg, let them all in.
You got it.
Okay, well, welcome to orientation for the Shots at the Shop. I'm Omar Neal. I'll be your moderator, facilitator of today's orientation. I'm the former mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama, and host of the You Got the Power radio talk show. And my sidekick, as always, is Dr. Stephen Thomas, better known as Dr. T. Hey, Dr. T, how you doing?
Mayor Neal, I'm telling you, you see, I'm at the barber poles you're used to, but I'm at a new location outside of home, and literally in a B&B in Pennsylvania, and put together a makeshift opportunity to be here. And that's the power of this Zoom. And in many ways, it's the silver lining, because we're bringing barbers and stylists together from all over the country in ways that have never been brought together before. And we want to keep this thing going. And I see we have one of our best practice barbers out there, Aaron Perry. Meg, go ahead and spotlight him. And Omar, we're getting messages from around the country, photos and news stories of people getting it done. It's so exciting.
You know, it really is. And just to see these news stories and getting people engaged and bringing people out, I think the energy, particularly the going back to school, people are not just getting shots and eating and all of that, but they're getting supplies to go back to school, and they're getting their children vaccinated while they're there. I think this is kind of a really wonderful way to, I don't like to use the metaphor, kill birds with stones, but to do multiple things at one time.
But you know, Mr. Mayor, I'm so proud of what Montgomery, Alabama is doing where you are. And
right.
I've seen that they talk about the state writ large, but when they actually go down to jurisdictions like Montgomery, you guys are doing well, and we need that story to be told. And at the
absolutely.
At the same time, you got a situation in Florida. We'll see if we have any Florida folks with us. Situation in Florida where the governor has passed a law that if you put a mask on or mandate a mask, you will be fined. It will take money away from your school. Can you believe that?
Well, you know, I was with just on yesterday, the Florida Education Association Vice President and Secretary Treasurer were on my show. And that's absolutely the case. They have been told that they cannot mandate, this is school, individual school districts cannot mandate the mask, even if the teachers, the principals, the administrators, and the parents want to do it, they cannot do it. And if they do, they have been threatened with forfeiting their funding.
Mr. Mayor, one of the things that we wanted to do tonight is really lift up and highlight some of the shops and salons that have done campaigns and give them some visibility, show off some of their flyers, and do some cross-fertilization and sharing of best practices. And even for those that we have collected information from, we have, but we might want to query out there in that audience and get an idea of what they're hearing as this Delta variant is now taking us into a whole new place of urgency.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out what we're hearing around the country. And when people speak, if they let us know where they are. But just before that, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, let's go to Gene Drummond, man. We can't, you know, we got to bring in our partner.
You know, I was going to throw the ball to her. Go ahead.
You throw the ball to her
now.
I mean,
you know, you're talking about Alabama. I tell you, yesterday I was so elated. I had the opportunity on a radio television kind of show in the Caribbean. It was coming out of St. Croix, and they were just talking about the work that they're doing. And I've forgotten some of the numbers right now, but it's just amazing if you look around even the globe, because team, you know, yes, we're trying to do this here in the States, here in Maryland, across the States, but this is a global, right? I mean, our world is open now. So
Right.
we've got to realize, look, what happened in China came here in a little bit.
Right.
I mean, we got to understand that. And so in looking at the numbers, I'm going to try to pull them up before I leave here, just in seeing the impact across the world. We were talking about Caribbean. But this is what I got yesterday.
Mm.
The speaker, just real quick, was asking, talking about misinformation and just the challenges that we're having, that there was a difference. What is the difference between the vaccination and a shot? People were concerned that they're getting the vaccination and they're getting the shot, not the vaccination. Is that a new one to you, Dr. Thomas?
Interesting.
I've never heard that one before.
I'm telling you, I've never heard my jaw drop. But can I just tell
you know, so the jab, you add a jab in, that's a whole nother thing, right?
Oh, come on now, man.
You have really, as they say, you have started some confusement.
A whole nother thing. But I'll tell you this. I'm so thankful. Came home and shared it with my husband, who is a physician and master at this, has been a part of the trials. And he told me exactly what the answer is. So I don't want to talk anymore. I want to throw it back to Dr. Thomas. But before I leave on another point, I'll come back and tell you exactly what a MPH, physician, Howard grad, Johns Hopkins MPH told me, because we got the answer. All right, back at you, Dr. Thomas.
And
Back at you.
let me just say, Jean, and we have to tell these stories because they're not always getting told. I was talking with people today, and they described a minister who got on television and told people if they wear a mask, they cannot pray at that church.
Really?
When you put these kinds of restrictions up that do concern me, a law that will take money away from schools if you have to put masks on. A minister says you can't come to my church if you put a mask on. We've got to expose these things. There's some of the subtle undercurrent that keeps this hesitancy alive.
Yeah. The other thing is too, Dr. T, this can kill people. And so I think we need to be very, very clear that this is not just some playing game or something. You literally can cause some person to die based on your lie, right? So, don't let the lie cause you to die, right? And so we need to know.
I like that.
Write that down, Chris.
You see what I'm saying? So we got to make this thing happen. Jean, we got another member of the team, Chris Sherlock. You need to introduce him.
Yes, absolutely. So we're delighted. Chris is there. It's probably, he's out in the field. That's where he is. And so Chris is going to be going to our barbershops and salons and working with
Here in
them.
Maryland. Yeah, people around the country.
Here in Maryland. And it's really a model. I love it because, well, we all know hair has been around for a while, but we got a different style that we're one of our projects. We're calling it hairstyle, right? Doc,
Right.
I don't know if you want, what hairstyle is. We make it fun, we make it educational, we make it engaging, and we make it a community. It's about the community, the family, and a family affair. So Chris is out working with identifying barbers and salons that want to be a part of this movement, that realize that they are central and pivotal in the community as trusted leaders, and that it is in the chair where you're getting your hair done, where you can learn about, if you trust me with your hair, come on and trust me in getting this education. Because we want to educate, we want to inform, and that's what Chris is doing. Chris, you want to say hello? Can you greet the group? I know you're in transition.
Sure, no problem. Give me 1 second. Let me take this off here.
And just before you do that, let me say, by having folk on the ground and gathering real-time intelligence, Mr. Mayor, from real people, that's how what we have here is different from what folk are doing at other places around the country. Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, hello. How's everyone doing? Thank you all for the opportunity for taking this meeting here. One thing that really has been sticking out to me is that this is a war. We are at war with hesitancies. We're at war with misinformation. We're at war with disinformation. So we have to arm ourselves accordingly to combat all of these things. One really interesting thing that stuck out to me, I saw an undercover video on YouTube just published 2 days ago, where they actually had an anti-vaccination party held in Washington, D.C. One of the names that stood out were it was 2 or 3 doctors on there who are actually funding these campaigns. So not only are we up against hesitancies, but we're up against a force who is trying to do exactly what was said. Don't let the lie cause you to die. I am more than enthused and motivated to take on this new role. My goal is to be a myth buster in the community, and to get as many people informed about the vaccinations as possible. So I really look forward and embrace my role. And then once again, it's a pleasure to be a part of the team here.
Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
We're happy to have you with us, man. We need another. They had a thing with the United Negro College Fund that said, "Wouldn't you like to feel another shoulder at the wheel?" Right. So we appreciate your shoulder, brother. Right.
I want to keep you safe out there, Chris.
Right.
So when Chris goes out, he's going to be masked up, but he's going to have a supply of masks, almost like a COVID first aid kit, and leave a supply with the barbershop at the barbershop to make sure that nobody comes in and who needs a mask doesn't get one. That's key to keep our people protected.
Great plan.
Thanks, Chris. Aaron, man, how you doing, man? How things going with you?
You know, things are going really good. I cannot complain. Thank you, guys. It's good to see everyone again. You know, we're just still at it. We're trying to be very aggressive with our counter to misinformation. And we're just keeping the pressure out here. One of the main things we're doing is we're finding these vaccine hesitant folks who have pets. And we're having these real conversations that, hey, who's going to take care of your pet when you get sick? Because you're going to get sick. It's just going to happen. The data is out there. Who's going to take care of your pet? You know, we're just trying everything. I also got a request to do an interview yesterday. And the interview started off very sickening to me. He said that the students at the University of Wisconsin are going to all be coming back to campus. Can you speak to how them coming back to campus, how they're going to harm your Black community? And I said to him, I said, well, it is a little bit of a stretch. I said, the folks who's going to harm the community are the folks that are not vaccinated. I said, so let's keep the focus on there, but I'm still seeing this silent attempt to still try to divide. And we're just trying to counter that. But more than anything, we're just keeping the pressure on. And then the last thing I'll share is one of our good friends, a guy comes in the barbershop, always just so jovial. He's the life of the party. He got sick. He ended up in the COVID unit. He said to everyone in the barbershop, get vaccinated. It was real. When they rolled me in on that gurney and I saw those people that had space suits on, he said that's when it became real for me. And I you know, we appreciate him being a big advocate for it, but we're encouraging people don't get to that point. You know, let's get vaccinated.
Aaron, you made a salient point. Do you know there was a family of a young man and his sister and mother, all were anti-vaxxers. And the younger guy, which was the young man, I think it was 28 years old, caught COVID. They all caught COVID, but he died. And his mother and sister are now the strongest advocates for vaccination, because his last words before he died was, COVID-19 is not a hoax.
Wow, powerful.
That was his last words. And he had been saying that it was a hoax and that it was not real and that they're just government's trying to get you. They were really out there saying that. And then his last words was it's not a hoax. And so I think that, you know, what we recognize is that we have to override this disinformation and misinformation with truth, but we have to be more intentional
We're going to do something a little bit different this time, Omar. We're going to ask people if there was a word that best characterizes how you're feeling right now, this moment during this pandemic, what would that word be? And you enter those words into the chat. Don't hit return. We're just going to do a countdown for 60 seconds and just start typing words into the chat that reflect how you are feeling right now. Time starts now. And just don't hit return until we give you a countdown. So Omar, we're going to do what this is going to be called a word waterfall. And then
a word waterfall. Is that, did you just make that up, Dr. T, or is that something for real? You know, you see them, you know, it's like that like came right off the dome. I mean, that's right out the oven. I mean, that.
We're going to see if the
Gene, I can't hear you, but you know, you need to
hold on.
I said, come on, he's a researcher, Mayor. So, you know, we got to give him a little credit. I know it's evening and he on vacation.
Those words coming. Okay, here we're going to do a countdown.
All right, go ahead and put the words in. What are you feeling? Tell me your actual feeling. You can have more than one feeling, so you can have more than one word.
Multiple words.
So you can just put your words. We'll put multiple words in, and
Okay,
don't hit return.
Here comes a waterfall. I'm gonna do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, hit return. Now look at that chat. Look at that chat. All those words coming in. And so Meg's going to take those words and add it to a visual word cloud. But Omar, right now, you and I and everybody else can look at those words as we seek to understand what people are sharing out in the field.
Well, you know, I see determined and frustrated and grateful, you know, and blessed, hopeful, aware, you know, so you know, and you know what word that really, think about it, aware. There are a lot of people who've been sleepwalking, and they really don't understand that they're walking through landmines, right? And when you're walking blindfolded through a landmine,
yes,
it is almost inevitable you're going to step on a landmine.
Wow.
And that's what the unvaccinated people are doing.
yes.
They're walking blindfolded through a landmine.
Yeah.
And Elmo, what happens when they step on the landmine and you're 6 feet away?
It blows everybody up.
Right.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
that's what I think it's about, Doc. We cannot seem like, okay, I'm vaccinated. No. We can create we can have so many mutations that they can create another variant that can elude our protection. So we have to technically protect our protection.
Yes. Now, Omar, before you open it up, and you look at more of those words, let me just say this, because you said it at the top. This is a global pandemic, which means what? There are parts of the world. There's parts of the world where nobody has a vaccine at all, Omar. Nobody.
Right.
1%. And we're talking about giving people third shots. And so the word from the world is this: if we in the developing world hold on and hoard, give off people 3 and 4 shots, but these variants keep spinning out in parts of the developing world, it will come back to us. That's why we have to vaccinate the world.
Right. And it's so interesting is that people are begging for vaccines. And we have people who won't take it, and it's available to them across the street.
Yeah.
That's the irony.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Greg, what's happening?
You know, I was gonna.
Go ahead, Gene. Go ahead, Gene.
No, I was just getting ready to say, I told you I was going to come back to you with that data that talks about literally every 100 infections last reported around the world, 16 are reported from countries in Latin America and Caribbean. Now, can I just tell you this? I checked that out because yesterday when I did the presentation, it was 13. And I had to look back and say, now it's 16. But just in thinking about this global world that we're in and the impact, and you speaking about, just around the world. So team, this thing is serious. I love Mayor. I put it in the chat. Mayor said, we gotta protect our protection. And that's so very important. And it's global.
Yeah.
This thing is not just Maryland. It's
Mhm.
not just Alabama.
Right.
It's global. And this is so serious. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Gene. Hey, Greg, how you doing, man?
I assume you're talking to me. I'm doing well.
Yeah,
Brother
Gregory
Omar.
Allen. I'm sorry, lifting at you because there can be a lot of Gregs in the world, but nobody is Gregory Allen like you, right?
Tell us who you are, Gregory Allen, and tell us what word there captures your imagination.
Say it again, Dr. Thomas.
Yeah, tell us where you are in the country, and then what word or words capture your imagination in that waterfall.
Oh, okay. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and Dr. Thomas, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I know you asked one question. I'm gonna answer a better question.
Okay.
So this particular last night actually, we had in the shop in which we talked about vaccine hesitancy.
Yes.
And I was able to debate one of the stronger debaters in our community on vaccine hesitancy. And the result, I think, was fantastic. And so I won't say I convinced everyone there, but what we did come to an agreement on was that there are people in our community that absolutely need the vaccine. And that there is this baseline where people fear for their lives. So people who are saying that I have this individual decision not to take the shot, it's gonna be hard to walk up to someone who's worried about having control of the ability to live or die, to be concerned about people who have these individual desires not to take the shot. So we made a lot of progress last night, and we'll continue that debate, but we're doing the work, man, we're working.
Hey, Omar, I want to say something about Denver, because I've been talking about Denver ever since our last week. Because you had on-the-spot conversions in the shop, and we got that recorded, and it was just amazing because I got health professionals who could not do what you did. And that's where trust and trustworthiness comes in. I just want to salute you and your sidekick that you had with you, because your story is an example that you can make a difference in the moment. And I just say this, the guy who walked out as an evangelist, telling everybody, that is classic in the neighborhood. Classic. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Yeah. Let's we have John McClenny here as well. Let's bring him up because I'm so proud of this young man. He's from Montgomery, and he is a shop owner and been in business, I think, over 35 years. Uptown Tans, and of course he had a shots at the shop event just on yesterday. It was captured in major media. In fact, the WSFA TV station, which is the largest, most broadly viewed television station in the area, covered it. And I want to bring him in to kind of talk about what he did and what the results were and what he believes we can do to even enhance what we're doing. Because I think it's important that we look from different angles and see, well, okay, not just who's at the table, who's not at the table.
That's right.
It's not just what we're doing, what are we not doing? And I think those things are very important. So if we could bring John McClenny up in,
Yeah,
that would be
I
wonderful.
spotlighted him, but we would need him to put his camera on.
Oh, even if he doesn't put his camera, I don't know if he's available to put his camera on, but I
Okay,
do need
well, he can unmute himself and talk. Go ahead.
just unmute yourself if you're there, John. Hold up.
And we have his video we're going to show.
Okay. Well, why don't we just show his video if we have
Okay.
that?
Meg,
And,
if you
and
have
then
that,
and then we can talk to him during that time.
yeah, Meg, if you have the news piece queued, are you ready with it, Meg?
I have it, Dr. T. Sarah, give me 2 seconds.
Okay, Sarah,
All right, can we unmute John, or does he need to hit *6?
he's fine, but he just may not. I don't know. Send him a text if he's trying.
Yeah,
Let's
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Let's show his video, and
Okay.
then we'll come back to him. Go ahead, Sarah. Get it running and get it full screen.
Well, helping to get more people vaccinated this week is the job of a local barber shop in Montgomery. It's called to Place at Uptown Tans. The owner there says this will be their way of helping people feel more comfortable about getting the vaccine.
We're giving away school supplies, giving away vaccine shots in the shop. So it's very good that we get to stay connected together.
I like it. Hey, and as you heard, free school supplies are also being given out there. Some new information now from Max. Well, helping to get more people vaccinated this week.
All right, so that's John McClenny, and John is, in fact, I've been knowing John a long time, but he is one of the top salon owners and spa owners in the entire city of Montgomery, Alabama. He's one of the top people, and he has a voice because he's been doing hair over 35 years. And so can you imagine the number of people that he's done their hair over the years? Come on. I mean, it's been incredible. I see John is available now to talk. Hey, John, how you doing? No, maybe not. I see he's still, can we have him unmute? Hit unmute? Is that possible? Can we unmute him?
Yeah,
No.
we have to ask him, and he's not.
Okay,
responding.
he just texted me saying he's trying to unmute.
Okay. So we'll come back to John. Let him know he can also use, if he's on a computer, or is he calling in on a phone?
He may be on a phone.
So let him know. We'll maybe have him log off and come back in. That may be it.
Okay, so John, just log off and come back in, and maybe we can get you in during that time. But we definitely want to hear your voice. If we can see you, it will be even better. All right. Now, one thing, Gene, I don't want you to have to leave, because I do know you have to leave, but I want you to make sure that you get your last words in. I'm always looking at the time and being conscious of that, right? But I absolutely unequivocally do not want you to leave without telling the people your last words.
Unmute, Gene, unmute.
Okay, the operator, great. Thank you so much, Meg. So I want to just, if any of us hear someone say, well, man, they're only giving us a shot, not a vaccine. Here's the point, because it's done. Team, understand, a shot is given to treat a disease or a health condition. So first, that's a shot. So now you got to understand the word shot has multiple connotations, right? Is it drinking something? Is it a shotgun? But if you're talking about, an IM an intramuscular, shot, understand a shot is typically given to treat a disease or a health condition, whereas a vaccination is given to prevent an illness or disease.
Oh, wow.
All right. So I'm just kind of we're trying to make it simple. We're trying to really make it simple. This came from a physician, an African-American physician, MPH from Hopkins, and all the other good, good stuff. So, it is what the vaccine is in. We're giving it in an IM, in the intramuscular, it isn't a needle. So if you want to say it's a shot, but I just really want to help you to understand, a shot is typically given to treat a disease or a health condition. But the vaccination is given to prevent illness or disease.
Wow.
So
Gene, I hadn't thought about that from that vantage point. Have you, Dr. T?
Well,
I hadn't either. That's come straight from a physician.
Well, we got this issue with language. We've got an entire movement out there that has branded themselves as anti-vaxxers. And so the shots in the shop is a catch-all. It's a catchword. It's a jingle. It's nothing we came up with. it emerged. I think it still works in terms of how people are interpreting it. We'll find
Absolutely.
field, but it's also a teachable moment. It's
It is. It absolutely is. It absolutely. And I didn't.
a teachable moment.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And when it came to me, this was, I told you this was some folks from St. Croix, they were saying, and I thought about it, but when I asked the physician, he immediately said, I got the answer for you. And the shit. So again, Doc, you always say we don't blame, we don't, shame, we don't do any of that. We just provide answers. And so to my great friends, I want to say,
don't leave that, Gene. Don't leave that. Let me just say one more thing since you got us in class. These mRNA vaccines are 90% effective in what? Preventing serious and death.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean that you might not get breakthrough infection. It's rare, but it can happen. But it won't kill you.
It won't kill you.
It won't kill you.
It won't kill you. You won't be in a bag.
But you got to get two. You got to get the full dose. There are a lot of people out there who only got one dose of the double dose vaccine, and that is not enough. We got to get them to come back to the second dose. And for the 12-year-olds, the only vaccine approved for 12-year-olds, Pfizer, which is a 2-dose vaccine. You got to get them. All the more reason, Mayor, why we are in the barbershops and salons, because people come there all the time. It's like coming home.
Right.
Yeah, and we have my dear, thanks, Gene. I appreciate you. Love you so much, and really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
all you do.
Thanks.
It's all good, man. Thank you.
Good, absolutely.
All right.
John McClenny, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Man, let me tell you how proud I am of you. I like to brag on my Alabama people anyway, but I certainly want to brag on you because I saw you on WSFA last evening. I think you were on 2 or 3 times on yesterday. And you had a lot of people were out there. It was festive. You had a lot of leaders, political leaders and others who came and were supporting what you were doing. And so I want you to kind of tell people what happened, how it happened, and what you believe we can do to continue to make it happen so that we can get our people vaccinated.
Yes, sir. On yesterday, we had a Shots in the Shop back to school drive, which we did about 25 plus people, individuals, young ladies, young age of 12 and up. We had the Hispanic population come in because it doesn't require for them to have a ID. A lot of people felt like, maybe it was a setup or they're not going to jail. So I called in to Daryl Bailey, and which is the district attorney here in Montgomery, Alabama, and also the chief investigator, Michael Thomas, and as the assistant DA, I had Councilman C.C. Calhoun come in. I also had a couple of county commissioners, which is Dan Harris and Isaiah Sankey. And I also had a couple of radio stations do a live remotes. Also, I had, like I said, Channel 12. And we started out, we gave away a lot of shoes, a lot of pencils and paper. But the main point was to get these vaccines in the arm. So when Felicia Barrow, she's worked for the public health, when she called me, or once Biden gave Alabama $40 million to get shots in the arm. So she contacted a senator of mine by the name of Bobby Singleton, Senator Singleton, and he said the first person you need to call is Johnny Red Monday. That's what they called me, John McClenny. She called me, so I took the baton and I started headed to Tokyo with the Olympics. So my whole thing is that I connected a lot of dots with people. I know a lot of people. I've been doing hair, as he said, like 38 years, and I'm always trying to help the community. So with that said, that we gave away hot dogs, hamburgers, and people just come up, no questions whatsoever, what you do, where you live, or we just get to the point that we wanted to get the vaccines in the arm. So at that point, I think that we did pretty good because we got a couple of people that's doing it. They probably had 10 or 12, which is excellent because only if we just get one, we save
Right.
lives.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, man, I saw it on television. Again, I know how people feel about you in the city. You are well respected in the city, John. But thank you for the work that you did, because I do know that those 25 plus people also, not only did they save their lives, but they saved somebody else's life too. Could have, right?
And I want to make sure that I let everybody know that we had a big tent out there that was financed by me, and the food financed by me. And but one thing about it, I want to make sure that I let everybody know that it was the Walgreens on Atlanta Highway in Montgomery, Alabama. And one young lady came up and she had about 5 or 6 kids, and she's like, "Hey, I live in Prattville, Alabama, and what do I need to do?" I said, 21 days, come back. I'm trying to have another one. And she was like, I went over to one of the assistants, the nurses or the pharmacists over under the tent, and she was like, "Well, anywhere in the state of Alabama, you go to Walgreens, you can get your Pfizer shot." So that was even a plus. So they won't have to worry about getting the second shot.
Right. That's another thing too. It's not just one time, Dr. T. He's talking about multiple times. He recognized that, you do it this time, but we're willing to even do it again. Right. And that's so important. Go ahead, Dr. T. What were you saying?
You can't be the only one bragging on Alabama. I want to tell John, I am so excited and proud of you, brother. Look what he said. He's known as someone who has an extensive network. He's known as someone who's trustworthy. People didn't just come to a clinic, they came to a party. They came to book bags, hot dog. That is the model. That is the model. People come to relationship.
Right.
And then look what else he said when we do the next one, which meant that clinical partner said to him, "John, we're going to be with you." And John, what we're telling to all of our Shots at the Shop partners, keep those clinical partners' feet to the fire, because the diabetes, hypertension, cancer, all those things are still in our communities. And what we're building now can be a bridge to health promotion and disease prevention. That's what we want the White House to know. They got a new partner in improving the health of the American people.
Well, we appreciate you, John, and hang out with us, man. We know that you're at work. We see that. He's doing what he does, right? Right. So that's all good. Let's do this. We want to be able to bring Sebastian in, because there are a lot of people who are out there who have done their shots at the shop and they've done the orientation, but they don't know quite how to navigate the other part. So what we want to do is bring Sebastian in, who is the guru of this particular segment, and tell people how they can do it, and kind of give them the abbreviated version, Sebastian.
Definitely. Yeah, it would be my pleasure. Before I start up, I'm going to drop a link in the chat. And if you have not signed up for the course, you can do it alongside me. I'll give a little more detailed overview of the stuff to look out for, and then just a brief overview of what the modules look like. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I will share my screen. And all right, so that link that I just put in the chat, which looks a little like this, once you click on it, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. It says Open Learning, University of Maryland. Here we can see prior panelists, and you'll see something that says COVID-19 Rapid Response Training for Barbers and Stylists. So once you come to this page, you'll go ahead and click this blue button that says Enroll. And from here, this is a really important page because we need to do 3 things before we can enroll in the class. So the very first thing that we need to do is create an associate account. And the way you do that is by going and reading the text here and clicking this highlighted blue text that says create an associate account in blue. Once you click on that, you'll be taken to a page that looks like this. Here it'll say associate account registration. And from here, it'll ask you just some general information. So it'll ask you your first name, your last name, an email. You'll put in the exact same email underneath, and then your phone number. So once you put in all that information, you'll go ahead and click submit in this black button. And from there, you'll see this page pop up. In this case, I went ahead and did a mock demo, so it's just my email. But on this page, we have selected our ID as the email that you're going to use consistently. So this is the email that's signed up with the listserv where we got the link for tonight's meeting. So before you can move on in this page, you need to do two quick things. The first one is you need to click yes on this box where it says the acceptable use of information technology resources. You'll be given yes or no, you'll click yes. And then once you click yes, you'll click this black button that says accept. Once you clicked accept, you'll go ahead and go into your email. And from here, you'll get an email that's from an account named Associate Activation Non-Reply at umd.edu. From there, you'll get a link here at the bottom. You want to go ahead and click this highlighted link. And then once you click on that, you'll be taken back to this page where it says password setup. And then again, you'll see the University of Maryland logo right up top. And from here, now we need to select a password. And so you do that by entering the password in this box that says new password. And just as a heads up, there are some parameters to what your password needs to be like. So one of them is it has to be at least 8 letters, but no more than 32. Within your password, it must have an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and a special character. And so a special character looks something like a pound sign or an @ symbol or a dollar sign. I recommend writing down the password either on a Post-it note on your desk where it's easy access, or something that I like to do is I put it in the notes section of my phone, just so you don't have to go through the process of making a new password. So once you have a password that's 8 characters minimum, you will put it here. You will put the exact same password underneath. And then once you have typed the exact same password, you'll go ahead and click this black button that says update password. So from here, you'll be prompted with this green banner underneath where it says associate account registration. And if you see that green banner, it means that you were successfully able to make an account. Some things that may prevent you from being able to make an associate account is using anything other than Chrome. So things like Safari or Bing or Internet Explorer are not good search engines for this course because they tend to crash. So I highly recommend Chrome. And then I also highly recommend, if you have access to a desktop or a laptop, to complete the registration and all the modules on a desktop or a laptop if you have access. But at this point, we have now made an associate account. And so we need to navigate back to that original page we were on where I said we needed to do 3 important things. And the way you do that is by looking at this top left corner. And so here we would have had a second tab. You'll go ahead and click on the tab that's farthest to the left, and it'll say OES-SPH. Once you click on that, you'll see this page again. And since now we have an associate account, we can go ahead and sign in. And the way we sign in is right underneath this text where we initially clicked. You will click this text highlighted in blue that says sign in here. And once you click on that, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. And so this is the page you will always see when you need to sign in to either do the modules or download your certificate. And so where it says directory ID, that's the email address that we use when we registered our associate account. So we put that email address in there, and then underneath you put the password that we use to set up our associate account. So again, minimum of 8, lowercase, uppercase, special character, and 1 number. So once you put in your password here and your email here, you'll go ahead and click this red button that says login. So once you've clicked on that, you'll be prompted again with this page that says COVID-19 rapid response training for barbers and stylists. So from here, you need to click where it says, I am not a robot. You need to click this, it'll be a clear box and you'll see this green check mark here. And then from there, the very last thing we need to do is click enroll in course in this blue button right here. So once we've clicked on that, you'll go ahead and go back to your email and you should get an email that looks like this. So in this case, it'll have the University of Maryland logo up top. It says you are enrolled in the COVID-19 rapid response training for barbers and stylists. And then from here, in order to access the modules, you can go ahead and click this blue button that says access your dashboard. So once we click on that button, it will take us to a page that looks like this. It'll say open learning. It's similar to the first page that we saw. And then from here, we can go ahead and click begin course. This is a really good page to have bookmarked so that you can navigate easily from, and then you can also download your certificate. Dr. T, would you like me to give an overview of the modules as well, or just kind of stop there?
So we're going to have you stop there,
Okay.
Sebastian, and let people know that the entire tutorial is been recorded and available on the website. And I want to let people know that when you come to an orientation like this, one of the orientations like we're doing right now, or you view one that's recorded, that's on the website, you are ready to host an event. Because it takes time to connect with a clinical partner, set the date. So you want to move forward and do those things quickly. Because once you've been to an orientation, you're ready to go. Once you actually do an event like we saw tonight, people who have actually done a vaccine event, Shea Moisture is ready for you. And do you know, Mr. Mayor, let's go back to the Hollywood Squares. Mr. Mayor, do you know that we have reached over 1,000 shops? Hello. Let's give us all some snaps.
Absolutely.
But everybody who's through the door, some people are stuck in little, cubby holes or cul-de-sacs, and we're going to spend our time moving forward to do one-on-one tech support. Now let's be mindful of this.
Dr. T?
Yep, yes.
I just wanted to interject real quick. We definitely offer technical support, and the best way to contact us to get that support is at hair@umd.edu, and there we can set up a phone call or a Zoom or a FaceTime or whatever works best.
No,
that's fine. Let's say that again, because you put it in the chat, but let's say that again slowly. That's very important, Sebastian.
Say it.
Most definitely. Yes. So we are offering very consistent tech support. So if you ever have trouble signing into the account, getting your certificate, or navigating the modules, please feel free to email us using the email that we just put in the text box. So it's hair@umd.edu. And then from there, one of the Shots at the Shop support staff will reach out and either set up a phone call or a Zoom call or a FaceTime or whatever works best for you and your schedule.
Now, Sebastian, stay there just for a moment, because you've done some of that one-on-one help. Just
definitely.
A couple examples of the challenge the individual had and how you solved it on the spot.
Definitely. So one challenge was I think that initial create an associate account can kind of blend into the text, and that's something we're already working on. But in that case, I just gave a heads up that you need to look within the text, and there you could sign up, and then the registration process was really logical after that. And another really common thing I've seen issues with is making sure that you have all the check marks beside your modules. That can prevent you from getting a certificate. And it's a really, really, really easy fix. Now we have made it a lot easier. There's only one check mark, and it's at the very end under a section that's called the post-training confidence assessment. It's a repetition of the pre-training confidence assessment. And in there, we're not trying to get any personal information or snoop or anything. It is just so we can see how many clients a normal barber will see, and meaning how many people are entering the shop consistently, what kind of an impact. So now we only have that one green check mark at the very end, and that can be a roadblock sometimes to stopping someone from downloading their certificate.
So let me say this, Sebastian was able to solve these challenges, but Mr. Mayor, he raises an important point. When we ask in surveys questions, and the context is not, and the relationships have not been built yet, that people thought we were trying to get into their business by asking, how many people do you see, and volume, and that is not the intent at all. So anything like that, we just remove, because as we learn to know each other better, you'll see why some of that background is important, because we're trying to get you more resources. And that way we're able to kind of crowdsource resources for the shops. But that should not be a barrier to you getting your certificate. So there's some folks here that are about to get paid, and we want to celebrate them. And we want to get people who are stuck on those little technical issues over the hump. We'll be doing one-on-one telephone hotline and helpline. And the other thing, Mr. Mayor, this is the future. We're actually helping John and all the other barbers and stylists help demystify this whole computer thing. We're all going to be better for it moving forward.
Right. Well, I'm so happy that that the support is there, because they're, obviously we're taking people in spaces that they are not accustomed. They're, so obviously we want to make sure that we are being supportive of them. So Sebastian, you and Sarah and all of the people who are behind the scenes, we appreciate you. That's the next thing. We want you to know how much we appreciate you. We could not do this without you. Let's be unequivocal. It could not be done without you. So thank you so much for what you do.
Now, Omar, this is, I love the intergenerational collaboration. We got barbers who've been doing their skill for 30 plus years. We got Sebastian as an undergrad hanging out with us, helping folk master this stuff. I think that's a good thing. And as he gets ready to transition off, let's give Sebastian some snaps. Thank you, my brother. This is his last day with us. He's still in school, but school's about to start. He's going on to other roles. We were so glad he stepped up at the time of need and put in place some of the infrastructure we'll be using going forward. And we have Sarah. Sarah, go ahead and turn your camera on and just introduce yourself. She'll be picking up some of the activity that Sebastian was doing. So say hello, Sarah.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here with y'all.
Absolutely.
Tell us where you are, Sarah.
I am currently in Columbia, South Carolina. So all my Carolina friends, say hello. I am very excited to kind of be picking up where Sebastian is leaving us, but I'm also super excited to see where this project goes moving forward.
Absolutely.
Sarah,
I don't know what Sebastian is in terms of his academic space, but he got a PhD in terms of doing this. I just want you to know that. He's really good at this. And so we really appreciate it. Go ahead, Dr.
I was going to say, Sarah has graduated, but she worked in the Center for Health Equity.
Okay.
We worked, and so she's one of us, and and she will visit any of those shops and help folk there in South Carolina as we find partners and support for you at the local level. Now we have you having clinical partners.
Right.
How is your local university doing in helping out? How can we get other institutional resources that maybe didn't know the roles you play to recognize that you have arrived now? And we're not going back to a time when we just lived sicker and died younger. And so we're going to show you some of these best practices going on around the country, and hopefully as a source of encouragement and role modeling about how we move forward.
Right. The other thing is too, we want you to know that we're going to continue, and Sarah and the team will continue to really walk you through this process. And so any questions that you have, you can send up a message to us at hair@umd.edu, and any questions, and we'll get right back to you concerning answers. And even if you need us to call you, we will call you and walk you through it via the phone.
And we've been able to do that with folks, and they've got off the phone with Sebastian with a certificate and a photo. And I really want to encourage people to take photos of their local event. And when the press comes, sometimes they leave with all your local evidence. So keep collecting that. You should know that it's hard to believe when we're going through it, that 50 years from now, they'll be talking about this moment. The Library of Congress is actually archiving what's happening right now. Our stories will be in the history book. And so we have some best practice. We have another best practice video, Omar, if you're ready to see that and share.
Let's rock and roll, Dr. T.
So there was a webcast that Mike Brown and I did, and that's just audio. Think about that. That's just audio. But the people behind the scenes, when they saw what we talked about, they got inspired and literally produced what you're about to see as a promo for their audio podcast. Go ahead and roll it, Sarah.
The barbershop is a sacred space for the kinds of conversations we need to have.
Go ahead and back it up. And
It's buffering a little bit, Doc.
get ahead of the buffer. Back it up, and you'll be ahead of the buffer, Sarah.
Sarah, also, if you don't make it a full screen.
Oh, if you don't make it a
tends to
full
load
screen,
better.
that's better. Okay,
All these little techniques.
that's my PhD.
So while Sarah's working it, again, when we, at the end of these town halls, we do a little editing to take away the transitions, and then we post those for later viewing. If you're ready, Sarah, go ahead.
My internet has become unstable. I think the storm started rolling in.
Okay. I'll do it from this end. You talk a little bit, Omar, till I get my screen.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is too, we need to begin to promote our protection. That's something that I talked about before. We all have to be ambassadors. So I think it's time now for us to become more proactive in telling people our vaccination status. It's not an intrusion on your privacy to say that I'm vaccinated when we're trying to get everybody vaccinated. It's not like it's some personal thing. It is something that we're doing together. And I'm not only am I vaccinating myself for myself and my family's protection, but I'm vaccinating myself that we all can be protected. And I think that's the spirit and the kind of mindset that we need to have. I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for us.
You know, Omar, we are hearing that a transition when people early on were concerned about the risk of the vaccine. Then they were concerned about, they started out actually with the chip, risk of the vaccine. But now we're hearing this personal liberty story. It's my body and nobody has anything to do with my body. A lot of this is coming from that misinformation engine out there. We have to counter it with good information. And so I think we're ready to go. Let me give it a try and optimize for sound. And hopefully I don't have storm issues on my end. Mr. Omar, I'm gonna have people apologize when they see my screen. My screen can be scary sometimes, even to me. And so
that chicken salad looks good, whatever that is.
Adjust your sound on your end, and we'll see if we can get these internet systems to work. Here we go.
Barbershop is a sacred space for the kinds. The barbershop is a sacred space for the kinds of conversations we need to have to move people from vaccine hesitancy to vaccine confidence.
Well, when Dr. T first came to me, he made me realize that we are more than just barbers because of the relationships that we have with our clients. Getting the right information to them from behind my chair is a definite way of giving back, is helping the community.
Mike sent me a flyer. He said, "Hey, Dr. T, this is information being distributed in our communities." And the flyer said, "COVID's a hoax. Don't take the vaccine." Our communities were marinating in misinformation.
I tell them, you know, I can understand your concerns. Don't disarm yourself. Do your research and make a decision that's going to benefit the well-being of your family and the other loved ones around you.
And on May 17th, in Mike's shop, we did the first barbershop vaccine clinic, needles and arms, anywhere in the state of Maryland.
It was just awesome to see the people coming in and rolling up their sleeve and taking the position to be vaccinated. I was excited.
And now I think the barbershop and salon in the Black community is recognized as a legitimate place for engaging a population in health promotion, disease prevention. So I've been ecstatic. And if you can give a life-saving injection of a vaccine in the barbershop, why can't we give the flu shot there? Why can't we give the diabetes test there? Why can't we do tele-wellness there? That's the vision.
That was well done, Doc. I like that. That's very well done. I assume that you are not in South Carolina, though.
Well, you know, a couple of things about that. Somebody saw and got inspired by our barbers and produced that, no cost to us. They said, "Look what we've done." I think that's the kind of magic that's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll make that link available in the chat and on the website, because I think when we're able to role model and see how it's done, more people realize we can demystify this process and make it work. And again, as I said to John, now that they're there with a life-saving vaccine, don't abandon us when the surge threat is gone. And we can make that happen because of the support we have right here.
Yeah. You know, well, you know, we're in this together. And again, when we talk about 1,000 beauty salons and barbershops around the country, all working together for one cause, which is to get people vaccinated so that we can protect the lives of people. This is about life and death. Doc, have you looked at the hospitals are now being inundated again, and they're saying that even more than at the peak of the first wave, we're finding some places even higher than that. Are you seeing that?
We're not only seeing it, Mr. Mayor, and it's important that when people hear the news say, "Oh, CDC changed their mind," or "CDC flip-flop," in reality, they updated the recommendations based on something they know. They're seeing what's happening as the spread occurs. But everybody wants to go back to normal so fast, Omar. We have to acknowledge the frustration people feel. But this is probably one of the most dangerous times right now. Think about the sacrifices we made. This is no time to get infected now.
Right.
And
Well,
people who are unvaccinated, who are the ones in the hospital and the ones dying. And you know, last time we started talking about it's time to start showing the suffering so people really see what this is about. I'm now starting to see that. People in hospital beds saying, I wish I would have taken the vaccine. We got to get that word out there.
you know, we got doctors who are saying that's one of the first things that they are hearing right before a person is intubated. You know, can I get the vaccine now? And the doctors are saying, I'm sorry, it's too late for that. We're going to try to save your life, but it's too late for that. And it bear stating that in Alabama, there was a family that were anti-vaxxers. And of course, they were very vocal about being anti-vaxxers and calling the vaccine and the virus a hoax. And what happened was a guy that was about 28 years old, the son, she had a mother, daughter, and son, all three got COVID, but the 28-year-old son actually died. And right before he died, Dr. T, his last words is that COVID-19 is not a hoax. That's his last words. And that's the word that they are now spreading throughout the country now because people are coming to them to talk about that experience. But the tragedy is a person should not have to die in order for you or somebody you know. We know enough people. We know that over 600,000 people died originally. We know that. It doesn't have to happen to you to understand that you need to protect yourself and your family.
Now, Meg has got something to show us. Go ahead, Meg, and show us what you got on the screen. And Mr. Mayor, let's see if this audience has something to share with us about what they're hearing out in the field. I'm looking here at determined, thankful, hopeful. This is still a pretty good word cloud, Omar, relative to what we've seen every week.
Well, you know, determined is, I think that's really good because you have to realize that you can get weary in well-doing. You know, I mean, we can get frustrated. We can be tired of wearing a mask and social distances, and particularly after we thought we had, you know, overcome, right? Right? Then to have to regress or go backwards, it's even more frustrating. So you know, it's just one of those things that I think we just got to persevere through this. I realize that we want to live through it and not just go through it, but grow through it. And we don't need to let up now. Do you know most accidents happen when you're close to home?
And what do you think that means?
That means that's when you let your guard down. You start coasting before you get home, and so you're not as alert, and that's why things happen, because you get home before you get home. And we were almost home, but now we've had to go back some steps, but we're going to make it through this. And believe it or not, CDC has said this, and this is something I think is so sobering, is that anyone who dies of COVID was a preventable death at this point, right? And we know that there are, you know, breakthroughs, and we know that people have underlying illnesses that may contribute to their death, but the vaccine itself is saving lives, 90+% of the people. In fact, I've heard numbers as high as 99.9% of the people who are in ICU units are the unvaccinated. that is incredibly telling.
Yes.
That once you get vaccinated, you are protected from what you said was incredibly important. Serious illnesses and death, serious illness and death. That's what we're trying to prevent. That doesn't mean that you won't get COVID or that there may be some breakthrough. It doesn't say that. It says that it's trying to prevent you from dying. And I think that's critically important. No, I know that's critically important.
Yes. And you know, I'm really interested in what the barbers and stylists think about what we're seeing in the press and in the news, because it's really coming off as you unvaccinated people are keeping the country back. You unvaccinated. I mean, it got really personal. So I'm just curious as to what they're thinking. When I heard Aaron Perry say to one of his customers, "It's because I love you that I'm asking you this. Do you have burial insurance?" I mean, that's a powerful thing, and only a friend can say that. He didn't blame, he didn't shame, but if you were to read the newspaper, and even your governor was very clear, it's the unvaccinated people, not us normal people. I think we need to get that out in the open, talk about that, sort that out, and see, is that what we're doing or hearing in our communities? And what are the implications when we do it that way?
Right. You know, I was just thinking about something that came to my mind. I want to think out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that. I want to think out of the casket, the box.
Oh, write that one down. That's good.
You got it. Think out of the box, right? Right? Because the box is where you don't want to be, right? You want to not be there. So why don't you think about the possibilities? What happens is sometimes we take just one little thing and we exacerbate that stop us from doing what we need to do to protect and to save our lives. Don't let that little thing, don't major in the minus.
Right? There's another one. That's a poster.
Right. Don't major in the minus, right? You know, and I think it's so critically important that we rethink this thing. And that's why I say, let's think out of the box. Let's get vaccinated so that we can live through this. That's so important.
So what are we hearing out there?
We can bring some people in. Let me go to gallery view. If there's some people in, if we can get them to speak.
Natalie's out there.
Yeah, we can get people to say something, or if you put it in the chat, even if you put you know, whatever your thoughts are in the chat, I'll read it out. You know, we have to just really talk this through. We have just a few minutes left. We have 13 minutes left before we go through. Hey, Aaron, have you heard something or seen something that sparked some thoughts since we've been talking?
Yeah, if I can share, today we had 8 of our nursing students. They do an 8-week internship with us, but they graduated today. And at the end of their internship, it's an aggregate report. This report was dynamic. It was actually touching because each of these young white males and females, they asked if they can come back and volunteer.
Amazing.
Because they were just touched by this. And we talked about, you know, the shots at the shop. We talked about the importance of getting barbershops and hair salons on board with this. But it was like they had an out-of-body experience. They knew the problem was tough, but they didn't realize it until they actually got their hands wet and coming into the barbershops and talking to these men. But what they uncovered was there was not just the COVID, but they said that Black men are really struggling with their mental health.
Mhm.
And it was powerful to hear this report. I will definitely share it with Dr. T, and you can share it with everyone, but it was very dynamic and very powerful because it makes a difference. And this opportunity that you guys have created, Dr. T, you said something earlier that this got the attention of the White House. Actually, it's gotten the attention of a lot of our health service, our health systems here, because they are now reaching out to me and asking me if I could get some guys together to do a barbershop talk, and they want to record it. You know, it's so powerful because at first I wanted to say, y'all ain't did nothing for me. Why am I gonna do this for you? But you can't be that way right now. It's all hands on board.
Sure. Well, you know, the thing is about it. It's about doing what you do for the right reasons. It was Dr. King that said this, Aaron. He says the time is always ripe to do right.
Yes.
Right. You got it. So it doesn't matter what happened historically. The time is always ripe to do right.
But you know, at the same time, and that's true. And at the same time, when the customers, and they've said that here in Maryland, we've heard this in other places, why do you care about us now? I think that's a legitimate question.
Right.
And Aaron, think about it. Those young people that had that experience, they'll carry with them after they graduate. That can help address so many other issues, even unrelated to health, dealing with issues of racism, discrimination, fear of the other. You gave them a safe, sacred space to be trained and to learn and get to meet somebody that otherwise they may never have met. That's important too.
Yeah, and these clientele, they let them in. I mean, they let them in because normally there's a shield there, but these brothers, they let those students in, and I tell you, those students appreciated that.
Well, that's so important, and to have them to come back and want to volunteer after they fulfilled whatever obligation they have shows that they're committed beyond personal reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good. That's rich. All right, Doc. Let's see. We got a few more minutes left. Let's see if we got somebody out there that want to say something. Obviously, we want you to hear your voice. If what you're hearing, what you're seeing, if you can kind of share those with us, you can unmute yourself. And if I see that or raise your hand, I can see that. Where you see reaction, you can hit reaction, and then you can raise your hand, and I can acknowledge you if you're interested in that.
Brother Andre looked like he's trying to say something, but he's muted, and he's in Atlanta, and he's done a vaccine clinic in his shop, and he said that they were open to doing it out at the airport at his big shop. So maybe we'll get him. But I see Ann. Ann is on mute. Hello, Ann.
Hey, Ann, how you doing?
How are you guys? Thank you so much for inviting me to the call. I wanted to share with you all that we are doing the initiative at the salon for the vaccination, and we're working with the Sunray Pharmacy. And I was on a call earlier today with some of the doctors from the University of Penn. I have a salon in West Philly called Hair du Jour Salon, and I'm also the president of PPIA, which is PA Professional Image Alliance. And we have at least 200 barbershops and hair salons. And I'll be one of the first salons doing a vaccine in Philadelphia. I wanted to share with you some of the things that they mentioned as far as the hesitancy. It was ages 18 to 24, and they're women. And most of the people that are hesitant was African American. And some of the things that I was kind of concerned about is how do we get our family and friends that are hesitant to get vaccine? And I think what you were saying, Dr. Stefan, is not offending people and not forcing them. I think that's the gentle way to make people aware. But also with the children going back in, I thought two things. The book bag drive is one of the ways that the parents can come in and decide to say, hey, today is the day I'm gonna get me and my child vaccinated. But then also I thought about, we are in the hair industry. Why not do a hair drive with personal care attached to it? Meaning we should give away brushes and combs and sanitary things that can help the children, be it toothbrushes, combs, and brushes. and just the personal hygiene as far as deodorant. So those are the things that I have to do. Our event will be August the 16th. It's from 12 to 3 p.m. And we have a very small window. But one of the things that I suggested that was original was just like they do the door knockers, we can do the, I want to say billboards that we can put on people's lawns, showing that the barbershops and hair salons from our organization is getting their clients, family, and friends to push this initiative as well. So the same thing that they do to get you to vote, I think that's a unique concept that we need to consider to get people to drive by and see the different things that we're doing in our beauty industry. So thank you.
And you're doing a wonderful job. We appreciate that. Make sure that you take a lot of photos and you get a lot of video. Make sure that you go online. If you have somebody who's Facebook, do Facebook Live. All of those things are recorded. The other thing is too, it's not just for documentary, having us documented. It's also to share it with other people who may not be there, right? So we can really spread the good news exponentially through social media. So make sure that you have social media. Make sure that you call your local television stations. Make sure that you have your influencers. If you know a celebrity, or if you know a political figure that's well liked and appreciated, if you know those, invite those people to be a part of it. They can give credibility and credence to what you're doing as well.
And Ann and I had a conversation earlier. She had another great idea, Omar, because this space we're in right now, and Chris, I see your hand that we're going to come to you next. This space is an invitation space only, so that we give you undivided attention. But Ann talked to me and she said something was very interesting, that the knowledge we're sharing here and the way we're doing it needs to be more broadly available. And she suggested that for those of us who have done vaccine clinics, who are committed to doing this, that we do a town hall like this, but stream it live to the world on Facebook and YouTube, and let everybody see the progress that we're making. I think that's another good idea. Thank you so much, Ann.
And I agree with you. You're absolutely correct. We do need to do this. We have kind of contained it to the people who are involved, but I think now we need to, share what we're doing more broadly. So we do appreciate it.
And you,
thank you so much.
And stylists are part of the content experts now when we do that live broadcast. Okay, Omar, I see a hand up out there.
All right, let me go to see where we are. Let me go. Hold on a second, and let me go find the hand. Okay. All right, here we go. So where's Chris? Chris, there we go. Hey, Chris.
Yes, I'm still here. Yes. Just really quickly, I just wanted to piggyback and give kudos to Ms. Turner for raising some really, really good points. One that really resonated with me is about pretty much not force feeding the information to individuals. I'm one that believes that if a good shoe, it sells itself. You don't have to convince people. You just put the information where they can get it, and you give them the best and the most accurate, up-to-date information. And that's you're doing your job. So most definitely not force feeding and just making the information available so that we can help our humankind. This is not a Black thing, a white thing, a Spanish thing, a male, female, rich, poor. This is a human thing. So we have to, as Ms. Drummond says, we put humans first. We have to put humans first. So it's a really good highlights. And I thank you all for making yourself available with those points there.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris. And it's and I have certainly, I agree with you, but I also have a little mixed emotion about that, because if you are in a house that's burning down, I don't think you talk to people like, I think the house is burning down, and it would be a great idea if we exited. And you can do that at your leisure, right? Maybe take a nap or something, and then we'll see what happens. I think we need to have a greater sense of urgency, because this new Delta variant it is more transmissible than the previous one. It's going to kill, it can literally kill more people as a result of that. More people can be affected. And I think we need to not shame or blame or be, rude, but I do think we need to let people know that this is serious, right? And I don't know how to balance that. Does that kind of make sense, Chris? Does that kind of contradict what you're saying? I
Oh,
didn't mean to do it.
110%. When I used to work for TSA, we used to have to give instruction, but we used to have to maintain professionalism and ask people to take their shoes off. And that's one of the hardest things to do, is to have an authoritative stance, but yet maintain that professional, humble approach to it. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Not a lackadaisy approach, but just putting it where they can get it and hope that they receive it. We can lead them to the water, but we can't make them drink.
Right, I agree with that.
Hey, Omar, yeah. Chris is there rhyming with you, because I listen to your show. You say, get it where the goats can get it, right? Get it where the goats can get it. Get it down to the grassroots. And I think we need little metaphors like that, little sayings like that, because that little statement goes a long way. And we got some vaccine folk in the vaccine closet. Some people are living in areas that to say you're vaccinated means that you are, a certain political party or a certain ideology.
Right.
And they're in the closet and afraid to talk about the fact they've been vaccinated. We need vaccine champions. Omar, when you got vaccinated, you took a video of your whole vaccination experience and posted it online. We need more of that. And Ann, when you vote, don't you get that little badge that said, I voted? I think that's another way of balancing, Chris, that the people who have gotten a vaccination are heroes in and of their own right. And we should lift them up and praise them for doing the right thing for the right reason.
What vaccination means, it's almost like a spiritual thing. It's material for testimony. To get vaccinated is you have now material for testimony that you can save somebody else's life. And I think you need to take it from that vantage point, a very serious way, that you literally, your story, your journey, even from hesitancy to vaccination, can very well make a difference in someone's life that could very well save their lives. And so I think that's critically important, that we become more proactive and promote our protection. And that's kind of where we are on that. Well, Doc, the clock on the wall says it's time for us to giddy up out of here.
Can you believe that, how fast this goes, brother?
Absolutely. It happens like that. They say it always, time flies when you're having fun. Well, that's what we've just done. All right, Doc T, tell me what you're thinking before we leave.
I'm gonna go back to that word cloud of determined. You know what I'm seeing, Omar? Sometimes, even with Ann's observation of the young people and the African Americans being, I'm seeing more and more of our folk determined to protect themselves. And I think that's a good thing, to wear their mask with pride, to tell others that they've been vaccinated, because we're not going to get back to school and back to work unless we do that. Can you imagine if we mess this thing up and have to shut things down and go back to remote learning? It doesn't have to happen. It truly is in our hands. And you barbers and stylists are right now on the leading edge of saving not only your communities, but what's happening here in the country as well. So I salute all of you, and I can't wait to work with those who are having technical issues. We got a whole crew now ready to get you to the finish line, and Shea Moisture could not be more excited with what they're seeing. And the innovation and the creativity coming out of the shops, Omar, is just amazing.
All right, Chris, your last comments before you leave. You're the new kid on the block, so you're part of our team, but so we want you to kind of give people your last words before we salutate.
Sure, I'm not going to take much time. I'm not going to take much time. I just want to leave you all with the parting words of a brand that may be familiar of Nike, and say, just do it. Just do it. Just get the job done.
Get it done.
Absolutely. Thank
Get
you.
it done.
Chris.
Just do it. Yes. Thank you
I
all very
appreciate
much for the
you. Welcome.
opportunity. Look forward to working with you all.
That's welcome aboard, my friend.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. Well, you know, it was two boys who would go out into a village and watch this old man give great advice every day. And the village would just come around this old man and they would just marvel at his wisdom. And these two boys figured that they would do something to discredit this old man and embarrass him in front of the whole village. And so they came up with this scheme that they would get this bird and they would put it in their hands and they would walk up to the old man and they would ask the man, is the bird dead or is it alive? If the old man said the bird was alive, they would squash it in their hands until it was dead. If he said it was dead, then they would let it fly away. Either way, they would make sure that their old man was wrong. And so the very next day they came out and they saw that the crowd was even larger than normal. And the old man was there just asking questions, answering questions, and just really sharing his wisdom. And these two boys walked up to him and they said, "Oh man, what does we have in our hand?" The old man said, "You have a bird in your hand, son." He says, "Well, that's right." He says, "Oh man, is this bird dead or is it alive?" The old man looked at those two little boys and he merely said this: "It's in your hands. It's whatever you want it to be. It's in your hands." I want us to know that this virus and our approach to it is in our hands. It's whatever we want it to be. Let's vaccinate so that we can live. And as always, I'd like to leave you with these two words. Remember that I love you with a perfect love. But more importantly, remember this: you got the power. We'll see you next time.
You got the power. See you next Thursday, brothers and sisters. Bye-bye. Get your
Good night, everyone. Thank you all very much. Pleasure. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Share the resources.